Andrea Darlas in for Steve Cochran. Pat Brady is here. I was so excited yesterday. I was at the Dante Awards that Ron Onesti hosts for on behalf of the Italian American Association, awards for journalists and city officials, and kind of an ethics award. Really cool. Phil Ponce got the award.
What a nice man he is.
Oh, he's so nice, and he had his
whole
son there.
Family, they're
wonderful.
They
Phil
must
is
not
just
argue like holiday parties. They argue like everybody else. They seem they're just too nice.
I could never see Phil arguing. He's such a great journalist. And Alderman Burnett got the award from the city, but a great event. And I ran into Treasurer Mike Frerichs, who's wonderful. And I said, Treasurer, you got to come on with us and talk a little bit about.
How tall is he? Let's take a guess.
All right, I'm going to say, before we get him on the air, I'm going to say 6'7".
Okay, yeah.
Tom, how tall are you?
About 6'3".
All right, I'm saying the treasurer's 6'7". What do you say?
I think you're right. I think it is 6'7".
Okay, let's ask him. Hi, Treasurer.
Good morning, Andrea.
How tall?
The answer is I am 5 feet 20 inches tall.
No math on the show, Treasurer.
We can't figure that out.
Early in the morning for subtraction.
Way too early. Was that
my
close?
understanding that there would be no math.
1 inch short. The doctor tells me officially I am 6'8".
6'8". Very cool.
So my dad was measured at 6'7", so kids will ask me all the time, how did I get to be so tall? And I say, I drank a lot of milk, ate all my vegetables, and did everything my parents told me to do.
That's good. Is that what you tell the boys, too?
Well, they're 11 months old. They're not really concerned about how tall they're going to be, not very communicative, but someday I will share that story.
Yeah.
Although they will know the real secret. They have seen their grandfather, and genetics played a large role in it.
I saw you at an event a couple months ago, and you and your lovely wife were getting one of your first nights out after the two boys.
Yeah.
I hope you guys had fun. That's a lot of work.
We did. We've not had a lot of those nights out. He'll say, well, get a babysitter. I'm like, you try and find a babysitter who wants to deal with two mobile toddlers.
Exactly right.
That's what it wants. That's amazing.
But they are a handful.
I said, is 6:30 too early for you to come on with us? He's like, oh, are you kidding?
Yeah,
Boys, wake us up.
afternoon, yeah.
Exactly. Right. That's like lunchtime
I'll
for
open
us.
up for at least an hour by then, and maybe 2.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So 11 months, they're up and running around, huh?
They're cruising. They're crawling. They don't like to go in the same direction. That's the real problem, is you put them both down on the floor and one goes one way and one goes the other, and you have to make a quick decision which one is in more danger.
Right.
Well, enjoy that, because
Choose.
17 years from now, all they'll be doing is asking for Venmo.
Right. Each. So that's like double the, Dad, can I borrow $50? Treasurer, I'm so happy you're with us. Operation Purple Heart, looking to help veterans and families ahead of Memorial Day. And you held a news event yesterday talking about some more Purple Hearts that you found.
We did. We've been doing Operation Purple Heart since 2021. We launched it. Since coming into office, we've returned 10 Purple Hearts, and they're some of the best stories I've had in office.
Tell the story about.
We continue to bring in more Purple Hearts every year, and so 4 new ones are what we announced yesterday.
4 new ones. Tell the story about. Was this with the new one where you told the young woman that her dad, I believe, who was deceased at the time, had you found the Purple Heart, and she said she didn't even know he had won the Purple Heart?
Yeah, this was a few years ago. A woman in Peoria. We got a safe deposit box come in. It had a Purple Heart. It also had other military papers in there, including discharge papers, and so we knew who earned it. Through some simple sleuthing in Google and some public records, we found his daughter, called her and said, we have your father's Purple Heart. And she says, you must be mistaken. My father never earned a Purple Heart, because he went off and served his country in Korea, was injured, came home, lived a long life, and never talked about his Purple Heart or his experience in the Korean War with his daughter.
Wow, isn't that incredible?
People serve our country, they develop PTSD, and they just want to leave it behind.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes it really hard to return these medals.
Right. PTSD, or they're very humble and don't want to brag about everything that they have done. These stories, I know when you were telling me some of them yesterday, they're very emotional. I mean, you can't help but get emotional when you hear some of these backstories.
So frequently they're turned over to someone who has already passed, whether it was in war or after, but every now and then we return one to an actual living veteran. And I got excited in hearing some of the stories about his life. And I asked, how did you earn that Purple Heart? And his face changed instantly. You could see tears well up. His voice was cracking. He couldn't really talk, and his son, who was sitting next to him, said, "Dad doesn't talk about that time."
Wow.
And I didn't ask anymore. I don't know what happened, but clearly this is someone who went through a lot in service to his country. He earned that Purple Heart. He had lost it for 17 years. He was living in Mississippi at the time we found him. We asked where we should mail his Purple Heart, and he said, "Do not put that in the mail. I don't trust the post office to get to me. I've been looking for it for 17 years. I will drive up myself to collect it."
Wow.
What was the origin of this, Mr. Treasurer? I mean, is this your idea, or was this part of your reclaimed property program?
Yeah, so it's part of unclaimed property. We return a lot of money, but we also return contents of bank safe deposit boxes. And a lot of people will save or protect their Purple Hearts in a bank from theft or from fire. When I came into office, I took a tour of our vault. I saw a display case of some interesting unclaimed property, and in there was a Purple Heart.
Wow.
I had never seen one in person before. I thought that was cool. We opened it up. I looked at it. I said, "Who does this belong to?" And they said, "We don't know." I said, "Well, surely you know what bank it came from and who owned or who rented that safe deposit box." And so we started sleuthing and basically deputized my employees to become private investigators. And they've gone out and we've tracked down 10 of these so far. We'd love to return even more.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
Beautiful
Is there
stories.
any inscription on there, or is it that you had to do it through the bank information?
That's one of the reasons why this is so difficult. They don't inscribe the recipient's name on them. It doesn't state what conflict they are. A Purple Heart from World War II looks just like a Purple Heart from the Korean War or from the Vietnam War, and we can only go on the information that was associated with the box. So in the case of this gentleman from Mississippi, he gave his Purple Heart to his mother for safekeeping.
Wow.
My guess is he came back from the war. He was moving around. He was working different jobs. And, "Mom, can you take care of this for me?" She put it in a safe deposit box, didn't tell him about the bank. And when she died, he didn't know where it was. He didn't know where to claim it. And the bank didn't know his name, so they turned it over to us.
Wow.
That sounds like a great book
It does.
of all the adventures of returning.
Yeah, maybe
these.
a future book to put everybody in one.
Yeah, there are a lot of great stories in here. And if someone would like to read that book, I'll just make an appeal to them. Help us with a few more good chapters.
There you go.
Yeah, it's
There
great.
you go.
We set up a website, operationpurpleheart.gov, operationpurpleheart.gov. Go there, find information on those 12 Purple Hearts that we still would like to return.
That's very
In
cool.
some of these cases, see if you recognize a family name, someone from that town. Even if it's not the recipient, if you can say, "Hey, I know someone with that same last name who might be related to them," we're more than happy to make those calls. That's how we found some of these individuals.
That's how you find the unclaimed property, too, because if you do a search for, yourself to see if there's any unclaimed property, someone has your same last name, obviously a family member, distant family member, you can tell them, "Hey, you're on the site."
Yeah, and so you can go to operationpurpleheart.gov or you can go to IllinoisTreasurer.gov. Search for yourself, search for family members. A lot of times, unclaimed property or missing money is turned over to us because someone has passed away. And not every family has conversations about all of the places they have stored their money and what
Right.
bank accounts.
Absolutely.
And a lot of families find it difficult to talk about finances. And so when someone passes away, their money that should be going to their relatives gets turned over to us.
Well, Treasurer, thank you for all the work that you do, and thanks for coming on and talking with us about it again. IllinoisTreasurer.gov/Purple Hearts.
Hey,
and,
it's Mr. Treasurer. Andrea is a great babysitter, too, if you ever
Oh,
need
here we
somebody to
go.
watch those two kids.
If she works
Text me.
weekends.
Text me. I'm busy this weekend, but we'll see what we can work out. Hey, thanks, Treasurer.
Hey, thank you all. Thanks for helping to return some of these medals. If any listeners out there want to help out, operationpurpleheart.gov. Take a look through. Let us know if you'd have any clues.
Very good. Have a great weekend. Thank
Thanks,
you,
sir. Great
Treasurer.
weekend.
You too.
Appreciate it. Pat, thank you so much for hanging out.